The morning light filtered through the large windows of their Denver penthouse as Seraphina Blackwood sat at the kitchen island, methodically reviewing their household expenses while her husband Lysander showered upstairs. At 34, she had perfected the routine of managing their comfortable middle-class lifestyle on his software engineer's salary, carefully tracking every dollar to ensure their financial stability. But on this particular Tuesday in March 2024, a banking error would shatter everything she thought she knew about their financial situation. The statement that arrived in their joint account showed an unexpected deposit of $47,000 from something called Coinbase Pro. Seraphina stared at the entry with growing confusion, certain it was a banking mistake that would need to be corrected before it caused problems with their account reconciliation. She was reaching for the phone to call their bank when Lysander appeared in the kitchen, dressed in his usual button-down shirt and khakis, ready for another day at Meridian Software Solutions, where he'd worked as a senior developer for 8 years. "Lys," she said, holding up the bank statement, "there's some kind of error on our account. A huge deposit from something called Coinbase. I need to call the bank and get it reversed before—" "Don't," Lysander interrupted quickly, his face going pale as he saw the statement in her hands. "That's not an error. That's mine." Seraphina looked at her husband with complete bewilderment. "What do you mean it's yours, Lysander? This is $47,000. Where would you get that kind of money?" Lysander sat down across from her, his expression showing the discomfort of someone who had been caught in a secret he'd never intended to reveal. "I bought some Bitcoin a long time ago. I sold a small amount yesterday to cover the down payment on that new car you wanted." "Bitcoin?" Seraphina repeated, feeling like she was hearing a foreign language. "When did you buy Bitcoin? And why didn't I know about it?" "Back in 2010, Lysander explained, clearly wishing this conversation wasn't happening. "I put a few $1,000s into it when it was practically worthless. I honestly forgot about it until cryptocurrency started making news again." Seraphina's mind raced through the implications of what her husband was telling her. If he had bought Bitcoin in 2010 when it was worth pennies, and if he had just sold $47,000 worth while calling it a small amount, then he was sitting on a fortune that dwarfed anything she had imagined possible. "How much Bitcoin do you have?" she asked quietly. Lysander hesitated for several long seconds before answering. "Enough that we don't need to worry about money anymore. But Sarah, I need you to promise me you won't tell anyone about this. Not your sister, not your friends, nobody." "Why haven't you told me before now?" "Because I know how you are about financial planning and security," Lysander replied, his tone suggesting he'd thought about this conversation many times. "You'd want to cash it all out, pay off the house, put everything in safe investments. But Bitcoin could keep growing, and I don't want to make decisions we might regret later." Seraphina felt a complex mixture of emotions: excitement about their hidden wealth, hurt that her husband had kept such a massive secret, and frustration that he apparently didn't trust her judgment about financial decisions that affected both of their futures. "So you've just been letting me stress about our budget, worry about retirement savings, and delay purchases we wanted, while you're sitting on enough cryptocurrency to change our entire lives?" she asked. "I was protecting us," Lysander said defensively. "Cryptocurrency is volatile. It could crash tomorrow and be worthless. I didn't want to build our lifestyle around something that might disappear." After Lysander left for work, Seraphina sat at her kitchen table, staring at the bank statement and processing the revelation that her husband was secretly wealthy. But more than the money itself, she was disturbed by the realization that Lysander apparently saw her as someone who couldn't be trusted with important financial information. Over the next several days, she began paying attention to her husband's behavior in ways she never had before, looking for signs of the hidden wealth that he'd been managing without her knowledge. What she discovered was that Lysander had been living a carefully constructed double life for years. He had a second computer in their home office that he used only for cryptocurrency activities. He received mail at a P.O. box that she'd never known about. He had developed relationships with financial advisors, tax attorneys, and investment professionals who helped him manage assets she didn't know existed. Most telling was the realization that many of Lysander's weekend hiking trips and evening work projects had actually been meetings with other cryptocurrency investors, blockchain technology conferences, and financial planning sessions related to his hidden portfolio. Her husband wasn't just keeping Bitcoin a secret, he had built an entire parallel financial life that excluded her completely. But rather than confronting him about her discoveries, Seraphina made a decision that would prove to be life-changing. She decided to educate herself about cryptocurrency and blockchain technology, not just to understand what Lysander was doing, but to begin building her own portfolio without his knowledge. If her husband thought she was too unsophisticated to handle complex financial decisions, she would prove him wrong by becoming an expert in the very field he'd been hiding from her. Seraphina began spending her days researching cryptocurrency markets, blockchain technology, and digital asset investment strategies. She learned about different types of cryptocurrencies, understood the technology underlying their value, and began to recognize the patterns that drove price movements in digital asset markets. More importantly, she discovered that she had an intuitive understanding of market psychology and risk management that made her naturally suited for cryptocurrency trading. Within 2 weeks of discovering Lysander's Bitcoin holdings, Seraphina had opened her own cryptocurrency exchange accounts, developed a sophisticated trading strategy, and begun building a digital asset portfolio using money from her personal savings account that Lysander never monitored. But she was careful to maintain the appearance of someone who knew nothing about cryptocurrency and remained confused by her husband's mysterious financial activities. "How was your day, honey?" she would ask when Lysander returned from his evening meetings, all while knowing he'd been at a blockchain technology conference in downtown Denver. "Just the usual work stuff," he would reply, apparently confident that she believed his deception. As Seraphina's cryptocurrency knowledge and portfolio grew, she began to understand that her husband's approach to digital asset investing was actually quite conservative. He was holding Bitcoin as a long-term store of value, but he wasn't actively trading or diversifying into the newer cryptocurrencies that offered more aggressive growth potential. While Lysander was protecting a fortune built on Bitcoin's steady appreciation, Seraphina was building her own fortune through active trading in emerging digital assets, decentralized finance protocols, and blockchain-based investment strategies that he'd never even heard of. 3 months after discovering her husband's secret Bitcoin holdings, Seraphina had built her own cryptocurrency portfolio worth over $200,000, and Lysander had no idea that his financially conservative wife had become a sophisticated digital asset investor. But more importantly, she had discovered that she genuinely enjoyed the intellectual challenge of cryptocurrency markets and had developed skills that made her successful at something her husband had assumed she could never understand. The woman who had been excluded from her family's most important financial decisions was quietly building her own empire, using knowledge and strategies that would soon make her husband's hidden wealth look modest in comparison. The secret Bitcoin discovery that had initially hurt her feelings was becoming the foundation for financial independence that neither of them had anticipated, and for a shift in their marriage's balance of power that would surprise everyone, especially Lysander himself. 6 months after her accidental discovery of Lysander's Bitcoin fortune, Seraphina had transformed from a budget-conscious homemaker into a sophisticated cryptocurrency trader whose daily profits often exceeded her husband's monthly salary. But maintaining the facade of ignorance about digital assets required careful planning and exceptional acting skills. Each morning, after Lysander left for his software engineering job at Meridian Solutions, Seraphina would transform their home office into a high-tech trading center. Multiple monitors displayed cryptocurrency charts, blockchain analytics, and market sentiment indicators that guided her investment decisions across dozens of different digital assets. Her portfolio had grown to over $800,000, diversified across Bitcoin, Ethereum, emerging altcoins, and sophisticated decentralized finance protocols that generated passive income through yield farming and liquidity provision. But perhaps most importantly, she had developed a network of cryptocurrency contacts that provided her with investment insights and opportunities that weren't available to casual investors. Seraphina, her trading mentor Evangeline Cross, had said during one of their video calls, "Your intuitive understanding of market psychology is remarkable for someone who's only been doing this for 6 months. Have you considered that cryptocurrency trading might be more than just a hobby for you?" Evangeline was a former Wall Street analyst who had transitioned to cryptocurrency investing full-time after recognizing the potential of blockchain technology early in its development. She had been instrumental in helping Seraphina develop the technical analysis skills and risk management strategies that had made her trading so profitable. "I'm starting to think this could become my primary career," Seraphina replied, studying the charts that showed her latest investments in emerging blockchain protocols. The returns I'm generating are already exceeding what most people make in traditional jobs. But the financial success was only part of what made Seraphina's secret cryptocurrency career so satisfying. For the first time in her marriage, she was engaged in work that challenged her intellectually and provided a sense of accomplishment that wasn't dependent on her husband's achievements or approval. The irony wasn't lost on her that Lysander, who worked in software development and considered himself technologically sophisticated, had chosen the most conservative possible approach to cryptocurrency investing. He was essentially using Bitcoin as a digital savings account, buying and holding without taking advantage of the trading opportunities and emerging technologies that were generating massive returns for more active investors. Meanwhile, Seraphina had become involved in cutting-edge blockchain projects, initial coin offerings, and decentralized autonomous organizations that were reshaping how people thought about money, contracts, and economic relationships. The funny thing, she told Evangeline during one of their regular strategy sessions, is that my husband thinks he's protecting me from the complexity and risk of cryptocurrency markets. He has no idea that I understand these markets better than he does. Her success hadn't gone unnoticed by other sophisticated cryptocurrency investors. Seraphina had been invited to join exclusive trading groups, had been offered consulting opportunities with blockchain startups, and had even been approached by venture capital firms interested in her market analysis insights. But maintaining her double life required increasingly elaborate deception as her cryptocurrency activities expanded. When Lysander asked about the new computer equipment in their home office, Seraphina told him she was taking online courses in graphic design. When he noticed her receiving packages from cryptocurrency hardware wallet manufacturers, she explained they were supplies for her new hobby of digital art creation. Most challenging was concealing the time she spent on cryptocurrency research and trading. Seraphina had to be careful to close all her trading applications before Lysander returned from work, and she couldn't take phone calls from her cryptocurrency contacts when he was home. "I feel like a spy in my own marriage," she confided to Arabella Thornfield, another member of her cryptocurrency trading group who had become a close friend and advisor. "The question you need to ask yourself," Arabella replied, "is whether you're hiding your cryptocurrency activities to protect your husband from worry, or because you've realized that your financial success challenges his assumptions about your capabilities." This observation forced Seraphina to examine her motivations more honestly. While she had initially justified her secrecy as protecting their marriage from potential conflict over investment strategies, she was beginning to recognize that her hidden success was providing her with a sense of independence and accomplishment that she had never experienced in their traditional relationship dynamic. For 8 years of marriage, Lysander had been the primary breadwinner, the financial decision-maker, and the partner with expertise in technology and investing. Seraphina had been content to manage their household, support his career, and defer to his judgment on major financial decisions. But her cryptocurrency success had revealed capabilities and interests that neither of them had known she possessed. She was discovering that she enjoyed the intellectual challenge of analyzing markets, the satisfaction of making profitable investment decisions, and the financial independence that came from building wealth through her own efforts. More significantly, she was realizing that Lysander's secrecy about his Bitcoin holdings hadn't just been about protecting their financial stability. It had been about maintaining control over their most important financial decisions while keeping her in a position of dependence and ignorance. "The real question," Seraphina said during another conversation with Arabella, "is what happens when I eventually reveal what I've been doing? Will Lysander be proud of my success, or will he feel threatened by it?" "Based on what you've told me about how he's handled his own cryptocurrency investments," Arabella replied, "I suspect he'll be shocked that you were capable of building wealth independently, and possibly uncomfortable with the implications for your marriage's balance of power." As Seraphina's first year of cryptocurrency investing drew to a close, her portfolio had grown to over $1.2 million, making her wealthier in her own right than most couples ever become through traditional careers and investments. But more importantly, she had discovered talents and interests that were reshaping how she thought about her future and her marriage. The woman who had accidentally discovered her husband's Bitcoin fortune was now building her own cryptocurrency empire, using strategies and technologies that made his conservative Bitcoin holdings look almost quaint in comparison. But the success was also creating pressure to reveal the truth about her activities. especially as her cryptocurrency investments began generating income that would be difficult to hide during tax preparation season. "I can't keep this secret forever," Seraphina told Evangeline during one of their calls. "Eventually, I'll need to discuss my cryptocurrency investments with our accountant, and Lysander will discover what I've been doing." As Evangeline suggested, you could choose to reveal your success on your own terms, in a way that demonstrates how your financial accomplishments could benefit both of you, rather than threatening his role in the marriage. As Seraphina considered this advice, she realized that the decision about when and how to reveal her cryptocurrency success would determine not just her financial future, but the entire future of her marriage. She had built her fortune in secret, but maintaining that secrecy indefinitely would require continued deception that was becoming increasingly difficult to sustain. The question was whether revealing her success would strengthen their partnership by combining their financial resources and expertise, or whether it would create conflict by challenging the traditional roles that had defined their relationship for 8 years. Either way, the woman who had once worried about household budgets was now making investment decisions that generated more wealth in a single day than most people earned in a month, and her husband remained completely unaware of the financial powerhouse his wife had become. By the spring of 2025, Seraphina's cryptocurrency portfolio had reached $3 million, but her greatest achievement wasn't the money itself. It was the sophisticated investment network she had built and the reputation she was gaining as one of the most insightful cryptocurrency analysts in the Denver area. What had started as a secret response to her husband's financial deception had evolved into a legitimate career that was attracting attention from major investment firms. The turning point came when Seraphina was invited to speak at the Rocky Mountain Blockchain Conference, a premier event that attracted cryptocurrency entrepreneurs, investors, and technology innovators from across the western United States. Her presentation on decentralized finance and the future of personal wealth management was scheduled for the same weekend that Lysander was planning one of his mysterious trips to visit college friends in Boulder. "I'll be gone all weekend," he told her over breakfast, maintaining the casual tone he used when discussing his secret cryptocurrency activities. "Just catching up with some guys from university. Probably won't be very exciting." "That sounds nice," Seraphina replied, knowing that he would actually be attending a Bitcoin investment seminar that she had seen advertised in the same cryptocurrency forums where she had built her professional reputation. "I'll probably just stay home and work on my graphic design projects." The irony of their parallel deceptions was becoming almost comical. Both of them were attending cryptocurrency events in the same city on the same weekend, while pretending to their spouse that they had no interest in digital assets. But Seraphina's presentation at the blockchain conference would mark her public emergence as a serious cryptocurrency professional, while Lysander continued to treat his Bitcoin investments as a private hobby that his wife couldn't understand. The conference was held at the Denver Convention Center, and Seraphina was amazed by the caliber of attendees who came to hear her speak. Venture capital partners, blockchain startup founders, regulatory officials, and financial journalists filled the auditorium as she presented her analysis of how decentralized finance protocols were creating new opportunities for individual wealth building. Traditional financial institutions have gatekept wealth-building opportunities for decades, she told the audience, her confidence growing as she saw their engaged responses to her insights. But blockchain technology is democratizing access to investment strategies that were previously available only to institutional investors. Her presentation included case studies of successful DeFi investments, analysis of emerging trends in cryptocurrency markets, and practical guidance for individuals looking to build wealth through digital asset strategies. The response was overwhelmingly positive, and Seraphina found herself surrounded by people wanting to discuss investment opportunities and collaboration possibilities. "Ms. Blackwood," said Marcus Ravencroft, a partner at Denver's largest venture capital firm, "your analysis of yield farming strategies and liquidity provision is some of the most sophisticated thinking I've heard in this space. Have you considered consulting with investment firms that are looking to expand their cryptocurrency offerings?" "I'm definitely open to consulting opportunities," Seraphina replied, realizing that her secret hobby was becoming a legitimate career path that could provide financial independence beyond anything she had imagined. But the most significant moment of the conference came when she recognized a familiar figure in the audience, during another presenter's talk on Bitcoin investment strategies. Lysander was sitting in the back row, taking notes and clearly engaged with the content, completely unaware that his wife was also attending the same event. Seraphina carefully positioned herself to observe her husband without being seen, fascinated by this glimpse into the secret life he had been living. She watched him network with other Bitcoin investors, participate in discussions about cryptocurrency regulation, and demonstrate knowledge about blockchain technology that he had never shared with her. But what struck her most was how conservative his approach appeared compared to the sophisticated strategies being discussed by other conference attendees. Lysander was essentially a Bitcoin holder who had been fortunate enough to buy early, but he wasn't actively engaging with the broader cryptocurrency ecosystem that was creating new opportunities for wealth generation. Meanwhile, Seraphina had become deeply involved in cutting-edge blockchain projects, decentralized autonomous organizations, and cryptocurrency trading strategies that were generating returns far exceeding what buy-and-hold Bitcoin investing could achieve. After the conference, Seraphina began receiving consulting offers from multiple investment firms, collaboration proposals from blockchain startups, and invitations to speak at other cryptocurrency events. Her secret career was becoming too successful to remain hidden much longer. "The demand for your expertise is incredible," Evangeline told her during one of their regular calls. "But you're going to need to make some decisions about how public you want to become with your cryptocurrency involvement." "What do you mean?" "I mean that several firms want to hire you as a full-time cryptocurrency investment advisor, and those positions would require you to be publicly associated with digital asset investing. You can't accept those opportunities while maintaining the pretense that you know nothing about cryptocurrency." This created a dilemma that Seraphina had been avoiding. Her cryptocurrency success had reached a level where continued secrecy was becoming impossible, but revealing the truth to Lysander would expose not just her financial activities, but the fact that she had been deceiving him for over a year. More complicated was the realization that her cryptocurrency expertise and earning potential were now significantly exceeding his. The software engineer who had condescendingly protected her from the complexity of digital asset investing was married to someone who had become one of the most successful cryptocurrency investors in their region. "There's another issue we need to discuss," Arabella told her during one of their strategy sessions. "Tax implications. Your cryptocurrency gains for this year are going to require professional tax preparation, and it's going to be very difficult to hide that level of capital gains income from your husband." Seraphina had been dreading this conversation, but she knew that her cryptocurrency success had created tax obligations that would inevitably reveal her activities to anyone who examined their family's financial records. "I've been thinking about that," she replied. "I might need to finally tell Lysander what I've been doing, but I want to do it in a way that demonstrates how my investments could benefit both of us, rather than threatening our relationship." "Or," Arabella suggested with a knowing smile, "you could reveal your success in a way that shows him how much he underestimated your financial capabilities and business intelligence." As Seraphina considered her options, she realized that the decision about revealing her cryptocurrency empire would determine not just their financial future, but the fundamental dynamic of their marriage. She had spent over a year building wealth and expertise while allowing her husband to believe she was financially naive and dependent on his judgment. The question was whether Lysander would be proud of her accomplishments and excited about combining their resources and knowledge, or whether he would feel threatened by her success and defensive about his own assumptions regarding her capabilities. Either way, the woman who had accidentally discovered her husband's Bitcoin secret had built her own cryptocurrency fortune that exceeded his conservative holdings, developed expertise that surpassed his knowledge, and created career opportunities that could provide complete financial independence. The balance of power in their marriage had already shifted dramatically, but neither of them had acknowledged that change yet. Seraphina was no longer the financially dependent wife who deferred to her husband's investment decisions. She had become a successful entrepreneur whose secret empire was about to reshape everything they thought they knew about their partnership. The opportunity for Seraphina to reveal her cryptocurrency empire came in early December 2025, when Lysander's conservative approach to Bitcoin investing finally cost him a significant opportunity. The cryptocurrency market was experiencing a surge driven by institutional adoption and regulatory clarity. But instead of capitalizing on the momentum, Lysander chose to cash out a substantial portion of his holdings. I sold about half of our Bitcoin position, he announced over dinner, using the possessive pronoun that had always annoyed Seraphina. The price has gotten high enough that I want to lock in some profits and diversify into more traditional investments. Seraphina looked at her husband with a mixture of amusement and frustration, knowing that his conservative decision would cost them hundreds of thousands in potential gains over the next few months. Her own analysis of market conditions suggested that Bitcoin was just beginning a major bull run that could continue for at least another year. "Are you sure that's wise?" she asked carefully, not wanting to reveal too much knowledge while testing whether he was open to alternative perspectives. "Trust me, I've been following this market for years," Lysander replied with the condescending tone that had become increasingly grating as Seraphina's own expertise had grown. "I know it's tempting to get greedy when prices are rising, but the smart move is to take profits when you can." That evening, as Seraphina watched Bitcoin's price continue climbing while Lysander congratulated himself on his market timing, she made a decision that would change their marriage forever. She was going to reveal not just her cryptocurrency investments, but her entire secret career as a digital asset professional. But instead of confessing her deception apologetically, she decided to demonstrate her expertise and success in a way that would force Lysander to reevaluate his assumptions about her capabilities and their partnership. "Lys," she said the next morning over coffee, "I need to show you something important." She led him to their home office, where she powered up the multiple monitors and trading systems that she had been careful to keep hidden during his presence. As the screens filled with cryptocurrency charts, portfolio balances, and market analysis tools, Lysander stared in complete bewilderment. "What is all this?" he asked, clearly not comprehending what he was seeing. "This is my cryptocurrency trading operation," Seraphina replied calmly, pulling up her portfolio summary that showed a current value of $2.7 million. "I've been building this for the past 21 months, ever since I accidentally discovered your Bitcoin investments." Lysander's face went through a series of expressions: confusion, disbelief, and finally something approaching shock as he began to understand the numbers he was seeing on her screens. "This says you have almost $3 million in cryptocurrency," he said slowly. "That's impossible. You don't know anything about digital assets." "Actually, I know quite a lot," Seraphina replied, bringing up her trading history that showed hundreds of successful transactions across dozens of different cryptocurrencies. "I've become something of an expert in decentralized finance, yield farming, and emerging blockchain protocols." She spent the next hour walking Lysander through her investment strategy, explaining the technical analysis she used to time market entries and exits, and demonstrating the sophisticated risk management approaches that had allowed her to generate consistent profits even during market downturns. "You've been doing this for almost 2 years, Lysander asked, still struggling to process what she was showing him. "Ever since I realized that my husband had been hiding a fortune in Bitcoin while letting me worry about our household budget," Seraphina replied, her tone carrying a slight edge. "I decided to educate myself about cryptocurrency markets, and I discovered that I have a natural aptitude for digital asset investing." But the revelations weren't finished. Seraphina showed Lysander the consulting contracts she had been offered, the speaking engagements she had been invited to participate in, and the job offers she had received from major investment firms. "Blockchain Dynamics wants me to head their new cryptocurrency investment division," she explained, showing him an offer letter that included a base salary of $300,000 plus performance bonuses that could exceed her current trading profits. "And Rocky Mountain Ventures has offered me a partnership track position managing their digital asset portfolio." Lysander sat in stunned silence as he absorbed the magnitude of what his wife had accomplished while he thought she was working on graphic design as a hobby. The woman he had been protecting from the complexity of cryptocurrency markets had not only mastered those markets, but had become more successful than he had ever been. "How is this possible?" he asked finally. "You've never shown any interest in finance or technology investments, because you never gave me the opportunity," Seraphina replied. "You decided that cryptocurrency was too complicated for me to understand, so you hid your investments while assuming I would never be capable of learning about digital assets on my own." She pulled up market charts showing Bitcoin's performance since Lysander's recent sale, demonstrating how his conservative approach had cost them significant profits that her continued holdings had captured. "While you were selling half of your Bitcoin position last week, I was increasing my exposure to cryptocurrencies that I expect to outperform Bitcoin over the next 12 months, she explained. My portfolio gained more in the past month than your entire Bitcoin holdings were worth when you bought them. The conversation continued for hours, with Seraphina explaining not just what she had accomplished, but how her understanding of cryptocurrency markets had evolved beyond Lysander's buy-and-hold approach to encompass sophisticated trading strategies, emerging technology investments, and decentralized finance protocols that were creating new forms of wealth generation. "The funny thing," she said as their discussion wound down, "is that we could have been working together all this time. Instead of hiding our investments from each other, we could have combined our knowledge and resources to build even more wealth as a team." Lysander's response revealed both his amazement at her accomplishments and his discomfort with the implications for their relationship's traditional dynamics. "I just can't believe you learned all this without me knowing," he said. "And I can't believe you've been more successful than I have, despite starting years later. The question now," Seraphina said, "is whether we continue keeping secrets from each other, or whether we start working together as equal partners in both our marriage and our financial future." As they discussed the options for combining their cryptocurrency holdings and expertise, Seraphina realized that revealing her secret empire had accomplished more than just ending the deception that had characterized their marriage for 2 years. It had demonstrated to both of them that their partnership was capable of supporting individual achievement and mutual success in ways they had never previously imagined. The woman who had discovered her husband's Bitcoin fortune had built her own cryptocurrency empire that exceeded his conservative investments and opened career opportunities that could provide financial independence for both of them. But more importantly, she had proven to herself that she was capable of success in fields that had previously been excluded from their partnership. The balance of power in their marriage had shifted permanently, but instead of creating conflict, the change was opening possibilities for collaboration and mutual achievement that neither of them had anticipated when their cryptocurrency secrets had first begun dividing them. The months following Seraphina's revelation transformed their marriage in ways that surprised both of them. Instead of feeling threatened by his wife's cryptocurrency success, Lysander found himself impressed by her accomplishments and eager to learn from her more sophisticated approach to digital asset investing. What had begun as parallel deceptions evolved into a genuine partnership that leveraged both of their strengths. "I've been thinking about your offer to head Blockchain Dynamics' investment division," Lysander said during one of their morning strategy sessions, which had become a daily ritual since combining their cryptocurrency operations. "What if we negotiated for a partnership arrangement instead of just hiring you as an individual consultant?" Seraphina looked up from the market analysis she was conducting, intrigued by her husband's suggestion. "You mean both of us working for them?" "I mean creating our own investment advisory firm that contracts with companies like Blockchain Dynamics," Lysander explained, his software engineering background evident in his systematic approach to business planning. "You have the market expertise and trading track record. I have the technical infrastructure and blockchain development knowledge. Together, we could offer services that neither of us could provide individually." The idea was compelling because it would allow them to capitalize on their complementary skills while building something together rather than simply combining their individual successes. Over the past few months, they had discovered that Seraphina's intuitive understanding of market psychology paired remarkably well with Lysander's analytical approach to blockchain technology and system architecture. "We'd need to be careful about how we structure the business," Seraphina said, already thinking through the implications. "My reputation in the cryptocurrency community is built on my independent analysis and trading success. If we're going to work together, it needs to enhance my credibility rather than making me look like I'm depending on my husband's expertise." "Actually," Lysander replied, "I think it would work the other way. Your market insights and trading record would legitimize my transition from software engineering to cryptocurrency consulting. You've already proven your expertise independently. Now we can leverage that success to build something bigger together." This conversation marked a fundamental shift in their relationship dynamic. Instead of competing for authority over financial decisions, they were learning to collaborate in ways that multiplied their individual capabilities. Their first joint project was analyzing emerging blockchain technologies for a venture capital firm that was looking to expand its cryptocurrency portfolio. Seraphina's market analysis identified which sectors were attracting institutional investment, while Lysander's technical evaluation determined which projects had the engineering foundation to support long-term success. Your wife's market timing insights combined with your technical due diligence created the most comprehensive investment analysis we've received, Marcus Ravencroft told them during their presentation to Denver venture partners. We'd like to discuss a longer-term consulting arrangement that could involve both advisory services and direct investment opportunities. But their most significant success came from recognizing investment opportunities that neither of them would have identified working alone. Seraphina's understanding of market sentiment helped them identify undervalued projects with strong technical foundations, while Lysander's blockchain development experience allowed them to evaluate the feasibility of ambitious cryptocurrency projects before their potential became obvious to other investors. "Remember that DeFi protocol I was skeptical about last month?" Lysander said during one of their evening portfolio reviews. "Your analysis of the team's market positioning was absolutely correct. It's outperformed every other investment in our portfolio." "And remember the blockchain gaming project you warned me away from?" Seraphina replied with a smile. "Your technical analysis saved us from what turned out to be a complete disaster when their token economics collapsed." By the spring of 2026, their combined cryptocurrency portfolio had grown to over $4.8 million. But more importantly, their joint consulting practice was generating substantial income from multiple sources: investment advisory contracts, blockchain project evaluations, speaking engagements, and direct investment opportunities that came from their growing reputation as a formidable team in the cryptocurrency space. "We're being invited to participate in private investment rounds that most individual investors never see," Seraphina explained to Arabella during one of their regular calls. "Combining our expertise has opened doors that neither of us could have accessed working separately. But perhaps the most surprising development was how their partnership had strengthened their marriage rather than creating the competition or conflict that both of them had initially feared. I was worried that your success might make me feel inadequate or threatened," Lysander admitted during one of their conversations about their business growth. "Instead, working with you has shown me capabilities I didn't know I had, and it's made me proud of what we can accomplish together. I was worried that revealing my cryptocurrency activities might damage your trust in me," Seraphina replied. "Instead, it's created a level of honesty and collaboration in our marriage that we never had before." Their success hadn't gone unnoticed by the broader cryptocurrency community. They were invited to speak at major blockchain conferences, had been profiled in financial publications, and were being recruited by investment firms that wanted to hire them as a team. The Blackwood investment strategy, as their approach was becoming known, combined technical blockchain analysis with sophisticated market psychology insights to identify cryptocurrency investments with exceptional risk-adjusted return potential. But they were also careful to maintain the individual expertise that made their partnership valuable. Seraphina continued developing her reputation as an independent cryptocurrency analyst, while Lysander built his consulting practice around blockchain technology evaluation and system architecture. "The key," Evangeline observed during one of her conversations with Seraphina, "is that you've both maintained your individual professional identities while creating something together that's more successful than either of you could achieve alone." As they planned their next phase of business expansion, Seraphina reflected on how dramatically their relationship had changed since her accidental discovery of Lysander's Bitcoin investments 3 years earlier. What had begun as hurt feelings about being excluded from important financial decisions had evolved into individual expertise that ultimately strengthened their partnership. The secrets that had initially divided them had become the foundation for collaboration that was benefiting both their marriage and their financial future. "Do you ever regret not telling me about your Bitcoin investments from the beginning?" Seraphina asked Lysander during one of their evening walks. "Sometimes," he replied thoughtfully, "but I also think that if I had included you from the start, you might never have developed your own expertise and investment approach. The independence you built during those 2 years of secret trading gave you confidence and skills that probably wouldn't have emerged if we had been working together from the beginning." "And do you regret keeping your cryptocurrency activities secret for so long?" "Not anymore," Seraphina replied. "Those months of building my portfolio independently taught me that I was capable of success in areas I had never explored. Without that experience, I might never have believed I could contribute equally to our partnership." As they continued building their joint cryptocurrency empire, Both of them understood that their individual successes had been necessary preparation for the collaboration that was now defining their relationship. The secrets that had initially seemed like betrayals had ultimately become the foundation for trust, respect, and mutual achievement that neither of them had experienced before. The woman who had discovered her husband's hidden Bitcoin fortune had built her own cryptocurrency empire, but more importantly, she had created a partnership that was stronger than either of their individual successes. 2 years after Seraphina's dramatic revelation of her cryptocurrency empire, the Blackwood Investment Advisory had become one of the most respected cryptocurrency consulting firms in the Rocky Mountain region. Their client list included major venture capital firms, institutional investors, and technology companies seeking guidance on blockchain integration and digital asset strategies. But their greatest success wasn't measured just in financial returns. It was the transformation of their marriage from a relationship built on traditional gender roles and financial secrecy to a genuine partnership where both individuals contributed unique expertise to shared goals. The Denver Business Journal wants to do a cover story about our investment approach, Seraphina announced during their morning strategy session, reading from an email that had arrived overnight. They're particularly interested in how we've combined technical analysis with market psychology to achieve consistently strong returns. Lysander looked up from the blockchain development project he was evaluating for a client, his expression showing the pride he felt in their joint accomplishments. What angle are they planning to take? They want to focus on how our partnership demonstrates the value of diverse perspectives in cryptocurrency investing, Seraphina replied. Apparently, most investment firms are still dominated by either pure technical analysis or pure market speculation, but our approach combines both methodologies in ways that are producing superior results. The article would mark their public emergence as thought leaders in the cryptocurrency space, but more importantly, it would document how their individual expertise had combined to create investment strategies that neither of them could have developed working alone. Their portfolio had grown to over $8.2 million, but that number only reflected their personal investments. The assets they managed for clients had reached over $50 million, and their consulting practice was generating annual revenue that exceeded what most successful professionals earned in traditional careers. The funny thing, Lysander reflected during the interview with the Business Journal reporter, is that we probably never would have discovered these complementary capabilities if we hadn't initially been keeping secrets from each other about our cryptocurrency activities. How so? The reporter asked. Because if I had included Seraphina in my Bitcoin investments from the beginning, she might never have developed her own approach to cryptocurrency markets, Lysander explained. And if she hadn't been building her expertise independently, we might never have realized how much our different perspectives could enhance each other's investment decisions. Seraphina nodded in agreement. The period when we were both secretly involved in cryptocurrency gave each of us the opportunity to develop individual expertise and confidence. When we finally combined our knowledge, we were bringing together two sophisticated approaches rather than one person teaching the other. This insight had become central to how they structured their consulting practice. Rather than presenting themselves as a unified investment philosophy, they emphasized how their different analytical methodologies produced more comprehensive market insights than either approach could generate independently. Lysander focuses on the technical infrastructure and development potential of blockchain projects, Seraphina explained to their clients. I focus on market sentiment, timing, and the psychological factors that drive price movements. Together, we can evaluate both the fundamental value and the market potential of cryptocurrency investments. Their success had attracted attention from investment firms throughout the western United States, with several companies attempting to recruit them for senior positions or acquisition offers for their consulting practice. Goldman Sachs wants to discuss bringing our entire operation into their cryptocurrency division, Lysander told Seraphina after finishing a conference call with the investment bank's Denver representatives. They're offering significant equity participation and resources that could scale our approach nationally and lose our independence in the process, Seraphina replied. I didn't build expertise in cryptocurrency markets just to become an employee of a traditional financial institution that's trying to catch up with blockchain technology. This conversation reflected how their partnership had evolved beyond just combining their investment strategies. They had become genuinely collaborative in all their major decisions, with each person's perspective informing choices that affected their shared future. What if we approached it differently? Seraphina suggested. Instead of being acquired or becoming employees, what if we structured a partnership arrangement that gives us access to their client base and resources while maintaining our independent methodology? Over the following months, they negotiated a unique relationship with Goldman Sachs that allowed them to expand their consulting practice nationally while maintaining control over their investment approach and client relationships. The arrangement provided them with institutional credibility and resources while preserving the independence that had made their success possible. But perhaps their most significant achievement was how their professional partnership had strengthened their marriage in ways that neither of them had anticipated. "I've learned things about you during our business collaboration that I never discovered during 8 years of traditional marriage," Lysander told Seraphina during one of their evening conversations. "Your strategic thinking, your ability to analyze complex market dynamics, your natural leadership skills. I don't think I really knew who you were before we started working together." "I feel the same way," Seraphina replied. "Seeing how you approach technical problems, how you evaluate long-term potential in blockchain projects, how you balance innovation with practical constraints, it's given me a completely different appreciation for your analytical capabilities." Their marriage had become a genuine partnership of equals, with both individuals contributing unique expertise to shared goals while maintaining the individual professional identities that made their collaboration valuable. As they prepared for the business journal photo shoot that would accompany their cover story, Seraphina reflected on how dramatically her life had changed since that morning when she had accidentally discovered Lysander's Bitcoin investments. "Do you think we would have been as successful if I had never found out about your cryptocurrency holdings?" she asked. "Probably not," Lysander replied honestly. "Your decision to build your own expertise, instead of just confronting me about the secrecy, created the foundation for everything we've accomplished together. And if you had told me about Bitcoin from the beginning, you might never have developed the confidence and skills that make our partnership so effective," he said. "Sometimes the best outcomes come from unexpected circumstances that force people to discover capabilities they didn't know they had." As the photographer set up his equipment, Seraphina looked around their home office, which had been transformed from a place where she secretly managed household budgets to the headquarters of a multi-million-dollar investment advisory practice. The woman, who had once worried about their monthly expenses, was now making investment decisions that affected tens of millions of dollars in client assets. The husband, who had once condescendingly protected her from the complexity of cryptocurrency markets, was now her equal partner in a business that leveraged both of their expertise. But most importantly, the marriage that had been built on traditional roles and financial secrecy had evolved into a genuine partnership where both individuals contributed their best capabilities to shared success. The accidental discovery of Lysander's Bitcoin fortune had triggered a series of events that ultimately revealed strengths and possibilities that neither of them had previously imagined. What had begun as hurt feelings about financial deception had evolved into individual expertise, mutual respect, and collaborative success that exceeded anything either of them could have achieved alone. As the camera captured images of their professional partnership, both Seraphina and Lysander understood that their greatest achievement wasn't the cryptocurrency empire they had built together. It was the transformation of their relationship from dependence and secrecy to equality and shared ambition. The woman who had discovered her husband's hidden Bitcoin fortune had built her own empire, but more importantly, she had created a partnership that was stronger and more successful than either of their individual accomplishments.